Oh, you alright? Yeah. Did I tell you I did Tough Mudder? I did. 6 times. Did Tough Mudder. Hello. I did Tough Mudder. So, this time I want to talk a little bit about purpose. So it's something that I kind of thought that we'd got over as an industry, but I was listening to a podcast recently, and there was someone on there genuinely talking about how purpose drives businesses because people buy from brands that kind of appeal to their senses, their kind of their ethics. Um, so yeah, that kind of got me thinking because we've gone through a period of well, I mean, it used to be millennials. They buy experiences or they value experiences over things, and then all draw a line through millennials. Gen Z, they value things. They value experiences over things. All draw a line through Gen Z. Gen Alpha, they value experiences over things. But then we've also had at the same time millennials. They buy from brands that share their purpose and share their ethics. Draw a line, Gen Z. It's going to be Alpha soon. So let's just dip into that a little bit. Because what that really means is that Gen Z, above all else, value making a little bald man so rich that he can send Katy Perry into space. Also, they value child labour and exploitation and slavery in the fast fashion chain so much that they've made Shein one of the biggest brands in the world. So those are the values of Gen Z. If you take this whole purpose thing to its nth degree, which of course is bollocks, we know that. So let's unpack it a little bit. I'm going to start by saying that purpose is a very, very good thing. Not just worthy, it's good. As a society, as a culture, we need more businesses to have positive purpose, to want to make the world a better place. We're kind of going through an eco crisis. We've got a lot of hate and war around the world. The more that brands can step in and make a difference, the more that anyone can step in and make a difference, the better, of course. But I'm a marketer. And actually, the purpose of most businesses and most brands, including my own, is to make money. It's not to make the world a better place. Now, we can all make choices with how we do that. And this isn't to say there aren't purpose-led businesses out there that are doing very well, but they're actually the outliers. So I'm going to talk about myself a little bit here. So I'm in a position where I work for myself. I've had a very good career. I can pick and choose who I work for. So whilst I don't necessarily work solely for purpose-based brands, I don't work for brands that ethically I don't approve of. So I've chosen not to work with tobacco. I've chosen not to work with gambling. I wouldn't work with arms, and to be blunt, I probably wouldn't work with the Tory party. In fact, I wouldn't. But that's me now in this position. If I go back 20 odd years, my earlier career, when I smoked, I did pitch for tobacco business. And I did win a couple of campaigns with gambling businesses. At that time, I didn't necessarily see them as being negative. I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do. So I'm in a privileged position, and I know that now. I'm also I'm wiser, I'm older. Didn't have grey hair back then. Didn't have a beard. Oh, my hair back then. Different hat as well. So it's not necessarily that my ethics has changed, but my belief in sticking to them has changed, and that's a privilege. Not everyone gets that. If you need work to feed yourself, to feed your family, and the only jobs you can get are in those sectors, then you'd be silly not to. Sorry, but that's just the truth. I could choose not to do that now. And I have no regrets about what I did in the past, because I did them based on where I was then and what my mindset was then. I didn't feel like I was letting myself down, or my ethics or standards. As I said, I was a smoker. So tobacco I didn't see as an evil. The narrative has changed. My understanding of it has changed. Society has changed around it. So it's very different. And, going back then, I don't think that the gambling was as pervasive as it is now. So maybe there were reasons, maybe there weren't, maybe I was just naive. But we look at brands out there that do operate on purpose. Let's take Tony's Chocolonely. And yes, that's right, Tony's Chocolonely, not Tony's Chocolonely, which I think most of us have been calling it forever. Now that's actually a purpose that became a brand. There's some really, really good podcasts out there that talk about this. I think Uncensored CMO had a really good episode where the kind of head of brand, I think it was, talked about where it came from. But ultimately, that was a pressure group set up to eradicate child and slave labour in the supply chain of chocolate, confectionery, and they made a brand out of it. And the brand happens to be some of the best bloody chocolate you can buy. So, I think I was a big fan of Tony's without knowing anything about its purpose. I just thought it was bloody good chocolate. And then I found out about its purpose. Great. So they're doing a wonderful thing. And there are businesses out there like that. But the vast majority of businesses exist to make money for the shareholders. And so my job with my clients is to help them make more money. And as I said, I can choose to work with those whose ethics match mine. But ultimately, my job is to help them make more money, because that's the purpose of a business. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be growth at all costs. There's nothing wrong with a lifestyle business where you want a decent amount coming in to cover the costs. There's nothing wrong with being more aggressive and kind of trying to dominate a market, really, as long as you're kind of doing it in the right way. Let's forget espionage and stuff. But the idea that purpose is a profit driver for businesses is just nonsense. I'm going to quote Mark Ritson, Split the Room. I know there's some fans out there. I know there's people that don't like him. I happen to think he talks a lot of sense. But he says that the purpose of purpose is purpose. It's not about profit. If anything, purpose should cost you as a business, because you're doing it to make a difference for the right reasons. So anybody that's setting out a purpose, a why, to quote that golden showered bellend Simon Sinek, anyone who's setting out a why in order to sell more goods because they think that's how Gen Z / let's be Gen Alpha soon buys, is barking up the wrong tree. As I said, who's one of the richest people in the world? Let's look at the richest people in the world. Let's think about whose ethics match them. Jeff Bezos. Okay, as I said, do Gen Z really want to give him enough money so he can send Katy Perry up into space? Probably not. Sheen? Probably not. Elon Musk? Well, yeah, seemingly there are enough right-wing nutters out there that would like to see him, I don't know, basically take over America, it seems to be. But I would say not enough, and not all Tesla drivers and certainly not all Twitter users are that based. So he serves as a kind of PR focus. There's no fundamental purpose to that guy. He's the richest man in the world. So, yeah, just here to say that, if you're going to do purpose, do it properly. Don't think that it's a profit centre. Anyway, there's some more people coming who I need to tell that I've done Tough Mudder. You right, Dave? Tough Mudder. Did Tough Mudder. I mean, to be fair, it was all in a good cause, and we raised a decent amount of money for charity, but still looking to raise, so I'll put a link. If you want to donate to the Esme Enrique Foundation, please do. In the meantime, I'm going to carry on showing off. Right, Molly? Tough Mudder. Good Tough Mudder, yeah.